God. And do you see that taking place today? Go ahead, Al. I mean, if you don't mind jumping in, brother, because it's just kind of what do you call it? Here you go. A guy I was talking to at work, and tell me if I'm wrong, if I feel sound like I'm dispassionate, but he said that he just like the sky's falling kind of mentality, and because the kids and stuff like that are going to be okay. Oh, okay,
Oh, don't
okay.
worry, don't worry about that. I took care of it.
You good? Okay, okay, I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
so the thing was that he said the kids are starving and so forth and so on. I said, what kids are you talking about in particular? And I said, because I think in public schools, if I'm not mistaken, brothers, the kids are fed a breakfast, a noonday lunch, and an after school snack. So that's 3 meals right there, 5 days a week. And it's at government expense, because when I went to school, man, we had to pay for our lunch. Reg, you remember that, at Roosevelt, man, that you had to pay for the lunch in school and so forth and so on. It wasn't free. Mm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
I was at Baloo, man. I
or you,
myself.
or you had a bag lunch or something like that. The whole classroom smelled like bologna sandwiches, man, because that's what we could afford back then. Good morning, Rashawn. How you doing, bro? And your son, and how you doing, man?
Good morning,
And it was
everybody.
like where, well, brother, it's not as complicated as you paint the picture to be, because government is done a wonderful job, a magnificent job in making people who vote for these politicians think that they're getting free stuff. I mean, I'm just surprised that this guy Mandami up there, who said he's gonna be free bus rides and free groceries from the government grocery store. Now, perspective, brothers, those guys like Reg and myself. You remember the government cheese, Reg? You gotta be kidding me, man. The good government cheese that we got for free because the government gave it out, and they had good intentions, but those good intentions, swerved into something that made people kind of be what's the word, dependent on the government instead of God, because you have the food pantries and the all these stuff that happen, that the churches would do on a regular and basis because they knew they were the poor that were among us. The people that couldn't afford, groceries as often, or they fell on some hard times, medical issues ate up all their income and savings and so forth like that. And and sometimes that's temporary and sometimes it's permanent. But the church and these these places always rallied around to make sure that people got fed. And matter of fact, it all started just for a short term memory in the 1930s, where anybody heard the soup kitchens that took place in the around the states when they had the when the economy collapsed in the 1930s, and people were standing outside. Do you remember Al? Wait, Al.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they still have soup kitchens. I mean, you can find them
Okay.
usually anywhere in the vicinity of a Catholic church or some other
Yeah.
church that actually might be
Yeah.
doing something in the community. But
Hmm.
you don't see them the way they used to be. They funneled a lot of that money into other organizations. But going back to what you were saying about
Yes, sir.
people and dependency on the government, I mean, it seems like somewhere around the 1940s and 50s, when they really started making white women dependent on particular parts of, I guess you would call government subsidies or assistance, and that
Hmm.
eventually translated over to all communities, especially African Americans, things of that nature.
Hmm.
People became dependent on that and created this perpetual generational poverty or generational dependency. And instead of building up better macro and micro economies so that people could have jobs, open up businesses, and things of that nature, it was more
Hmm.
about suppressing the working class, no matter what color they were, to keep them
Exactly.
on the government roll. But when you get to a point with some of these people you see, especially the ones on videos and stuff like that, when they're talking about, well, if I don't get this, my children are going to starve. Now, none of the children look like they missed a meal as long as they've been alive. And the
Mm.
person who's making the statement doesn't look like they missed a meal at all. And I
Yo,
doubt very seriously that, they're going to starve. I mean, but I think the conditions that they would be living in would be a lot more horrible if they were actually on the point of starvation because they didn't get this or that. And that's not to say that there are some people who actually really rely upon it, but I think that it's become more of a con game for some people, and for others who actually need those services, unfortunately, they've been kind of excised from the programs because they don't fit criteria. But nevertheless, that's a serious problem that needs to be addressed, and I think that they need to take a look at that. And I don't think this requirement that they made for someone to work 15 to 20 hours a week is a big deal. They're not asking you to work 80 hours a week. They're not asking you to have one job and a side hustle. They're telling you just give us 20 hours a week so that you can participate in the workforce. That's all we're talking about. And I don't understand how that was so cumbersome for people. I understand instances of childcare, people may need help and things of that nature, but there are subsidies for that people are getting.
It's
So,
true.
so I mean, if things were as dire as that they're being projected to be, we wouldn't be on this call. We'd be somewhere at a food pantry passing out things right now. And
Yeah,
thankfully, there are people who are actually doing that.
that's
And
true.
that's why,
Hmm.
people need to stop letting their emotions get the best of them. Stop listening, to social media videos and stop listening to, echo chambers of news sources, no matter what they are, and really get on the ground and talk to people. You want to know what's going on in the community? Talk to your neighbors. Talk to people
Hmm.
who are not your neighbors, people who are in another neighborhood across from you, whatever it is. That you'll find out what's really going on. Until we get echo chambers out of our heads and out of our conversations, we're not really going to really address these issues the way we should. Just my opinion.
Well, it's good opinion. It's right on point and very accurate because, two things. And this is not a political argument, man. It's just an observation. That's all it is. I think I talked to, who was it, Danny the other day. I asked Danny, I said, Danny, the government's been shut down for what, almost 29, 30 days. Do you see any kind of, tidal wave of
No.
poverty and people raiding stores and stuff like
Ah,
that?
uh-huh.
Reg, I mean, it doesn't seem like the government is really actually shut down. So, which means that they've been playing that Ponzi game. They will switch up the cups on you and make you think that the whole thing going to just collapse as soon as these checks stop coming. But, buddy boy, I, I submit to you, and these people were boasting on, I don't know why, social media. They kind of not doing a good thing. They said they were selling their food stamps and EBD cards. And I personally, brother, know some people in my family close to me who gets these subsidies and they sell these cards for big money, brother.
I've
And
heard
they
that too. I've heard that too. Yeah, definitely.
I'm not making this up. So something is going on, man. That because maybe they upset because it'll cut off that income they get from getting these cards and selling them to people who are maybe less fortunate or who could take them and resell them to people who really need it. That's just a bad thing altogether. And one of the things and that you have to stand fast on, and I was hoping Walt would show up today, is he wanted to make sure that the people who came from other countries had the capacity and ability to come here. And I just want to discuss that. I mean, do you think that people who have, certainly legitimate concerns of, not things not going well in their country have the right to just walk across the border and demand and expect free stuff from us as citizens who were born and raised here? That's one of the questions I want to throw out on the table today. I mean, are we considered non-compassionate by not offering to our neighbor or to the south or wherever they're coming from some form of food, clothing, and shelter? Is that our obligation as a nation? What say you, brothers? Just throwing it out there. Or should we just lock the door? Because one of the things that happens is, speak up. There's no wrong answer in this. It's just an observation. That's all. Because for me, I think even if you look at Israel, I see their hand, Yashawn. Uh, they had borders. They still got long fences up there today because what? You don't know who's coming through the door. And that's one of the reasons why you want to keep a border and maintain it because you know it. A lot of people come here to do us harm, and not just to mention the fact that these guys, uh, there's another truck driver who came in, didn't speak English, and ran into the back of three cars, man, and killed three people just on their way. Coach, I think down in Florida, Texas, or something like that. Go ahead, Sean. I see the hand, brother. Go ahead. Your thoughts.
So
Good morning, man.
good morning, everyone. So like let's say an individual comes over into the country illegally. and they have a child. They was pregnant when they was in Mexico or wherever they were in Canada, and they come over, they get over, and they have a child in the U.S. They receive medical services here. They have the child here. That person now is a legitimate U.S. citizen. So now you come to a part where do you kick? You discover that the woman that came over illegally. Do you kick her out with the child, or do she have legal status in the U.S. because her child is a U.S. citizen? And I think that's some of the issues that have been arrived in the scenario where that child is a U.S. citizen because it was birthed in the U.S. and I guess we have generous laws, and that's the area where, like, we were discussing this a couple years back when I was in a legal class.
Okay,
and,
okay.
and it was interesting to hear the conversation about that. So I'll bring that up. But
Okay.
but if you answer your particular question, if they just come over in the country,
Exactly. That's the one. Yeah.
do they have a right? Do they have a right to be here? Right?
Without birth. Yeah, without birth and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, without
That,
birth. No, I think they jumped the line, and so
there you go.
they should be, uh, removed. Because there's people that have stood in line and did it the right way, and
Yep.
then you jump the line, and it's not fair. So to answer that question, no. But the other question is complicated.
Well, it's not so much complicated. You were making reference to the 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. Is that my understanding that you read that or heard that someplace in the fake news? Yeah, I'm gonna say it because it's not in there. It's not in there. If you read the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, it says people who are ambassadors and subject to the powers thereof. In other words, if they come over here as ambassadors or people who come from another country, legally, they're representing their country, and they give birth and they decide that they want to release or renege their citizenship to, say, maybe India or something like that, and become U.S. citizens, and they give birth here, then that is the birthright child right there. That's the one that they said they're going to have swear allegiance to the United States of America and the powers thereof, quote unquote. In other words, you're going to become subject to the powers of the United States, and you're not going to become, quote unquote, what they call a dual citizen. So you get that birthright. And the second portion of that, if you read it in the 14th Amendment, was to ameliorate the injustice that was done to the slaves because they were brought here against their will. And in order to compensate for that, they put that in the Constitution that any kid that was, enslaved, that was born here, once slavery had been, done away with, they automatically become a citizen. They try to, keep, balance that out. That their parents were born over here against their will, and so now the kid who was born to a slave family is now thereby become a free citizen. So they took and abused that privilege or that right from sneaking over here, and California was the first one to do that, to misrepresent what the 14th Amendment actually said in its entirety. So so there is no birthright citizenship to speak of.
So
As a matter of fact, no country in the entire world, free world, will tell you that they have that kind of right that exists. It doesn't exist. Go ahead. Mhm.
yeah, so I'm reading that Constitution right here, and I'm not gonna go back and forth because this could be illegal.
No, no, it's fine. Yeah,
This could be
back
a
and
legal
forth.
thing, but
You can go back and forth. And you
it's
see that they're subject to the powers thereof. You see that portion in it? Mhm.
I gotta
That's right.
get
Don't take my word.
I gotta get more content in, but it does say that
Yeah.
birthright is anyone that was born on U.S. soil and they automatically become a U.S. citizen.
In the 14th Amendment.
Yeah, well, that's the breakdown from the legal portion of it.
That's right. That's not the Constitution
Because
itself.
because if you
If
read
you,
this part, I'm gonna read the part of the
that's his
actual.
interpretation of it. Yeah. Mhm.
Not, yeah, so I'm about to read the actual language of it. It
There you
says
go.
all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdictions thereof
There,
are
did I quote that part? Yeah. Mhm.
They are
To
citizens.
the jurisdiction of who? Yeah,
Hold on 1 second.
go ahead.
Are citizens of the United States and the state within that residence. So when they're born in this country, they are U.S. citizens. That's kind of
No, that's not the correct interpretation of that. Matter of
that,
fact, let me see here. That's a good. I'm glad we raised this up.
that's the reason why they're going to court right now. And
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely.
if it was cut and
But
dry
see,
like if it was cut like you said, it wouldn't even we wouldn't even be here at this point. So
what?
it's
No, and that's the thing. People have misinterpreted that thing. And bless your heart, man. I'm glad you brought it up. Is the fact that these things need to be ironed out and understood because there's a lot of fogginess or misinterpretation uh of what's going on. Let me see here if I can pull this up. Uh, bear with me. I'm glad. I should have been more prepared because I didn't think we are gonna go this far. Because I don't want you to take my word
I
for it.
don't want to take you off what you were talking about, so we could continue
No,
on
this,
that.
like I said, this is kind of open forum. Okay, so here we go. Let's go with it right here. Let's do this one. I think
Well,
this is shared.
Roy, see, Roy, this is where I kind of disagree with you, right?
Good.
You play a video that um kind of like proves like I guess so that's an interpretation as well. So if you're going to challenge that position, you need to have literature that actually points to it. If somebody getting
Uh,
on YouTube, I could post something on YouTube. All of us can go on YouTube. That doesn't signify
well,
that's the
you have
truth.
the right. You have the right to disagree. I'm not
Yeah,
forcing that.
I'll
Yeah.
listen to the video, but I mean,
Okay.
I
And
don't
then,
think it solidifies your
and
point, though.
And the video is what codifies what I've already read for myself when I read the 14th, because it's a very long one.
Yeah,
We don't have the
well,
time
this
to do that.
14th
So
Amendment, though.
this is like a snippet of what I actually read and condensed. Okay, let's try that. Okay, you want to go with me on that one? Okay, here we go.
Before.
It just
Does
proves
the
my
Constitution grant citizenship to anyone born in the United States, even the children of people who've entered the country illegally, or the
and that's what we're discussing. You can you can disagree with it. These are facts. These are not opinions or
children of foreign tourists
Where's
who
the
owe our
where's the
country no
literature there?
allegiance? That's the question underlying the controversial issue of birthright citizenship. Many people today take it for granted that the answer is yes. If you're born on American soil, you're an American citizen. Period. End of issue. But is that what the Constitution says? Let's first look at the text of that document, specifically the 14th Amendment. It reads, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. Case closed, right? Not so fast. The key phrase here is subject to the jurisdiction thereof. It creates a second condition for birthright citizenship beyond merely being born on American soil. But it also raises another question. Who is born subject to U.S. jurisdiction? To answer that question, we need some historical context. The 14th Amendment was ratified in 1868, just 3 years after the end of the Civil War. Its purpose was to rectify the infamous 1857 Supreme Court decision, Dred Scott v. Sanford, in which the court declared that Black Americans...
Did I say that? That's the fact that I quoted. That's what I quoted.
...were not and could never be citizens. Even after slavery was abolished in 1865, Dred Scott technically remained the law of the land. Black Americans were left in limbo. They were no longer slaves, but they still were not citizens.
Amen.
The 14th Amendment resolved the issue once and for all. These newly freed slaves and their descendants were certainly born subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. This had been their home for generations. If they were not American citizens, to which other nation did they still belong? So while the 14th Amendment resolved the issue as it related to race, its authors would have been shocked to learn that we now interpret these words to make citizens of virtually anyone born on U.S. soil under all circumstances. As Yale law professor William C. Robinson explained in his 1875 legal treatise, the 14th Amendment grants citizenship only to those born within the jurisdiction and allegiance of the United States, a condition that requires, at minimum, lawful permanent residence in this country. This was also the original understanding of the federal government. In 1885,
And keep in mind, in this context, they entered the country illegally. Get that word planted in your head, illegally. So by default, they're breaking the law.
for example, the State Department rejected the citizenship claim of a man named Richard Greiser. Yes, Greiser had been born in Ohio 18 years earlier, but his German parents never intended to stay in the United States and returned with their son to Germany shortly after his birth. Because Greiser's parents did not owe the United States political allegiance, their son wasn't born subject to its jurisdiction, at least not within the meaning of the 14th Amendment's Citizenship Clause. Similarly, in 1890, the Justice Department considered the citizenship claim of a child born to one Mary Devereux, a pregnant Irish woman being held on a ship in New York Harbor.
Yep.
While awaiting immigration approval, Devereux left the ship for medical treatment and subsequently gave birth in a New York hospital. Authorities later denied her immigration application. Because Devereux wasn't eligible for lawful admission to the U.S., her U.S.-born daughter was not recognized as a U.S. citizen. Both mother and child were sent back to Ireland. The Supreme Court addressed the question of birthright citizenship in the 1898 case of United States v. Wong Kim Ark. Wong was born and raised in San Francisco, the son of Chinese immigrants. In 1895, after a short trip to China, Wong returned to the U.S., only to be detained by authorities and threatened with deportation. Wong sued, arguing that he was an American citizen by birth. The Supreme Court agreed. While this decision is often cited as proof that the 14th Amendment mandates universal birthright citizenship, it proves nothing of the sort. Just as the amendment was meant to undo the immoral Dred Scott decision, the Wong decision was meant to undo the immoral Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. That law prohibited immigrants of Chinese descent from becoming American citizens, no matter how long they lawfully lived, worked, and raised their families here. Wong's parents were what we might today call lawful permanent residents. San Francisco was their home. And according to the court, Congress could prevent lawful Chinese immigrants from becoming naturalized citizens, but it could not subject their U.S.-born and raised children to perpetual alien status because of their race.
Exactly.
So, universal birthright citizenship isn't required by the 14th Amendment's text or historical context. It's inconsistent with the earliest legal interpretations of the amendment, and it isn't compelled by Supreme Court precedent. Why, then, are so many so confident in their assertion that universal birthright citizenship is established constitutional law? Maybe a better question would be, what constitution are they talking about?
Exactly.
I'm Amy Swear, Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation for Prager University.
Amen. I mean,
the last case they had, the Supreme Court back their ruling in 1982. They confirmed that undocumented children are under U.S. jurisdiction, so they are citizens. That's the last one they did, 1982. So until that changes, they are U.S. citizens.
well, this is the thing. Yeah, I see the handout. The thing is, it's has has the Supreme Court ever rendered any illegal findings and what's the name? And stress the law.
The case is, I'll give you the case, which is Perler versus Doe, 1982. They confirmed it from an illegal child. That was the last ruling. I got it right here. I'll post it if you want it. But
Yeah,
that's
good. But it's still based on the fact that they entered the country illegally, right? So how does that give them any kind of legal status when you enter the country illegal? I see the handout. That was just a bad rule.
I think you're conflicting the two. So if, like I said, again, this is complicated, so we can move on. I don't really.
Why you want to move on? Why you want to move on, Sean? Why you want to move on? We want
because I mean, I like
but I'm just saying, you help me make sense of the fact that you enter the country illegally, and by illegally entering the country, you obtain legal status. Make it make sense.
I totally agree with you that people shouldn't skip the line.
That's what I'm
I,
saying.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But the way that the law is currently, the
Yeah.
law,
Okay.
we all got to be governed by the way
Right.
that the
And
law is currently right now. Let me just finish this, and I'll be quiet. The way that the law is currently, if a person enters the country there illegally and they're pregnant and they have a child, that child is a U.S. citizen. That's by the law. Now, the person that
okay.
entered that individual, like you're saying, they can be removed. But then you have
Right.
to get what we call, what people don't like, separating families and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well, let's come up to the 2025 U.S. Code 1034 that shut that law in 1982 down. Look it up. That you cannot come here, and that's why they're holding them at the border now and refusing them to cross the border so they can take advantage of the birthright citizenship that they thought they had. U.S. Code 8 1034, which shut down the 1082 because 1982 law because it wasn't a good law.
words, let's code
But,
don't
but
see
yeah,
the Supreme
yeah,
Court.
that's the one they're using there to keep them because otherwise, if they couldn't keep them from coming across the border to give birth, then the border patrol and everybody else would be, and even the president would be breaking the law now. But they
That's why they
updated that
suing
law.
them. That's
U.S.
why they're suing
U.S.
them.
So U.S. Yeah, they're suing them, but it hadn't been ratified in the courts yet.
It
And
has,
so
it has,
1034,
it has to
look it
get
up. Talk about the they call it the Illegal Alien Act. Look that up. I'm talking about something more today, 1982.
it doesn't supersede Supreme Court justice rulings.
It does, sir.
That,
1980.
huh?
What do you mean it doesn't supersede it? It's the law now. It wasn't the law in 1982, but up until now they ratified that law. They updated it, sir. So it's United States Code, which supersedes any other previous laws. Go ahead, Al.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, before we go way into the weeds with this, in fact, we're already there.
Yes, sir.
Understand that interpretation of constitutional any law in the country is based upon someone's understanding of their jurisprudence and based
Oh, Al,
upon their
you kind of muffled.
interpretation.
Al, you kind of
Okay,
muffled.
hold
Yeah.
on a second. Hold
Oh,
on.
we can't. Yeah, can't. Yeah. Kind of
Hold
sound
on
like
one second. Hold on one second.
yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
All
Sound
right.
like it's okay. Okay, much better.
Can you hear
Much
me?
better. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's better.
You know, any law that's been, considered by anyone sitting in the Supreme Court, appellate court, district court, lower courts, state courts, whatever it is, interpretation of those laws are based upon one's individual or a group of individuals' understanding of the jurisprudence at the time
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
their opinion. There's no question about that. So insofar as the Constitution is right, consequently, it could actually be wrong. So we
Thank
have to
you.
look at it from that perspective. We can't just say that one is completely this and one is completely that. As a matter of law, as Sean says, yes, it's a matter of law as of right now, and that is going to be adjudicated and argued about in the Supreme Court probably over the next year and a half.
Yes, sir.
But my question is this. I think the better question is this. Even if a child who was born in the United States becomes a U.S. citizen, do we negate the legal problems of the fact that the parent entered the country
That's what I'm going.
illegally? Okay,
That's
does
what I'm
that
going.
negate the fact that they're a naturalized born citizen? And I think that's a conversation that people need to have. I mean, if you're going to say, well, okay, if the parent commits any illegal act, why does the child benefit from the illegal act? Should they benefit that down the familial line? I think that's more of the question. It's not necessarily what the Constitution says with respect to, jurisdictions or things of that nature. Here's another question I'd like to throw out there. Okay, if a person comes into the country illegally, that woman is pregnant. She is now being apprehended by border control or something of that nature, and is now sitting in a federal facility. Okay, whether it's in a state, but it's on federal land, and she has her child while she's in that particular facility. Okay, considering that she is not in a jurisdiction, if you will, because she's simply in a federal facility, which for all intents and purposes is not necessarily a jurisdiction. It may be custody, but it's not a jurisdiction. Does that child still have the right to be an American citizen? That is my question. Because it's different if she were absconded from border patrol, and she is now residing in a state with family or strangers or what
Right.
have you.
Right.
And then she has a child in a local hospital, subject to whatever state that she's in.
Mm-hmm.
I can totally understand how that naturalization would be accepted. But if she's in a federal facility in custody because of her actions, does that rule still apply? And how do we interpret that? That's my question. But again, let's not
Yes,
get
sir.
into interpretations. Everything that is written in the Constitution and everything that's been, I guess what you would say, parsed out, or argued in a crucible until they can find a pure product, whether that's the truth or a lie, is based upon jurisprudence. That's what it is. We have to not get into the weeds on that. But Sean is right. At this particular point, that is the understanding of the Constitution based upon previous justices. Okay, whether that will remain in effect will be based upon what happens in the future. But the question is, should that be the law of the land? That's the question. Should it be the law of the land? Not that it is, but should it be the law of the land? And that's up for justices to decide.
I love that question. Can I address that question? That question.
Can I just add to that? Because I think, without, Al was very, very articulate in his thing, in a sense where I want to add a little piece to that if you're on federal property, it's considered to be trespassing, which is breaking the law. That's what's been held in custody. Go ahead, so.
Yeah, so
He's being held legally because he broke the law. Yeah.
Yeah, that was very intelligent said. But so let's deal with the first question, right? So you asked, I'll flip the question on you. Should that child
No. Answer Al's question.
No, hold on. I'm gonna answer his question, but
it's okay. It's all right.
It's the question to him. Should that child be punished for the parents breaking the law?
No, but see, you're not answering.
Well, no. Let me answer the question. Answer the question. Insofar as the fact that the parent has to be responsible in their actions if the child is in their care, yes, they should be held accountable for the fact that they made an incorrect action. If you committed an illegal act, there has to be consequences for that illegal act. Your position is that should only be applied to the parent and not the child. But if the child is in utero, okay, and then subsequently becomes, a living being, although they're a living being in womb, is what I'm saying, is they're now birthed. You're saying that the child should not be punished for the action, but the child would not be in said situation if the mother had not committed an illegal act. Now, again, that is arguable. Again, it's arguable, but it's among justices who clearly have a lot more jurisprudence experience than you and I. But it's good that we can have the conversation. But my answer to your question would be yes. But it's not punishment. It is to say that if I want a deterrent, I must look at the actions of the mother with respect to to her prudency of how she manages her child. Yes, I have to say that. Yes, but it's not punishment. I'm simply trying to implement a law so that some people cannot take advantage of a law. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah. But I think it lays the ground for other decisions and others. So, like, if you're saying that child had no effect or no authority at that time or what that mother did what they did. They broke the law to get here, and now they are born in this country. And according to the laws that we have, and you agree with me, they should have that constitutional right to be a citizen. You're saying change the law to create a deterrent for, I guess, immigration.
Well, the main issue here, Sean, is immigration law. I mean, you can't have this conversation without immigration law. And even though the 14th Amendment is interpreted a certain way and is on the books that way, immigration law has a lot of other things that need to be considered. I mean, if people are participating in wanton criminality, regardless of whether someone comes into the country illegally, that wanton criminality has to be considered. If a person is on the border trafficking people into the country, that is something that we need to address. Whether a woman is pregnant or a father is with their child, that has to be addressed because one, the parents or the individuals who are committing such acts are in error. Two, the children are at risk because of the actions of the parent or the people who are who's in their care. So immigration laws are half your problem. Forget the interpretation of the 14th Amendment. Immigration law is half of your problem because both sides of the aisle in Washington appreciate illegal immigration. They do. They always have. Okay. It contributes to their numbers. It contributes to their business. It contributes to cheap labor. It contributes to billions of dollars that are parsed throughout the United States and indeed the global world because cheap labor is what's the best labor because you don't have to pay that much profit. So when we start talking about the interpretation of the Constitution, that's wonderful. That's the way it is. But there are certain immigration laws that circumvent the Constitution, and they need to stop doing that. Immigration law needs to be enforced. If it's enforced, you will not have the problem that you have. The problem is that both sides have allowed immigration enforcement to not be enforced. Okay, you have an administration now that wants to enforce it. You had an administration prior that didn't want to enforce it. Okay, you've had administrations through 30 years that have, enforced it or not enforced it. But it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about the United States enforcing its own rules. That's what it's about. But again, I agree with you. According to the interpretation of the 14th Amendment at this time, if that child is born in the United States, that child is a United States citizen. Okay. But for me, the question is, should that child benefit from an illegal act? That's a legitimate question.
And I think that that's been looked at, and they have, as a matter of fact, very recently, the lower courts have sided with Trump that the 14th Amendment is what it says it is, that you cannot illegally enter this country. U.S. Code 8, 1325 makes it a crime for an alien to improperly enter and attempt to enter the United States and include offenses like entering unauthorized time, place, including inspection, making false claims, or using marriage, fraud, birth, penalties vary by offense, with the first time misdemeanor punishable by fines and imprisonment of 6 months. So you get 6 months just by going up there, just jumping across the border. And like we said before, one of the things that we have to keep in mind, we're not going to let anybody, I see the hand raised, just come into our private residence and homes without permission. It's just the same way. You have to look at that as that kind of protection that has to be offered in protecting its borders, because a country without borders is not a country at all. That's just a physical and a spiritual fact. That's why Israel didn't let everybody come in and be a Jew, right? And they were considered to be proselytes. They were, told that if you want to become a Jew, that you have to accept its customs and traditions and laws to become a Jew. And so thereby fault you can, be, enter in and become a Jew by default, called proselytization. And that's how, you become a person. And so the country is not a physical makeup, but it's a cultural and a legal makeup that protects the interior citizens who were born and raised here legitimately. Go ahead, Reggie. I see that.
Yeah, man. Like, once again, thank you, Al. Thank you, Caesar. Both of y'all
Yes, sir.
enlightened me of a few things that I've always wondered, man. What my question is, like Al said, big business and a lot of people benefit from dirt cheap labor,
Yeah.
and this thing should have been addressed in the 60s and 70s
Yes,
before
sir.
it ballooned, because my thing was I always had compassion for a lot of the illegals that came through here because I'm supposed to love my brother. What are they escaping? What are they running from? I mean, at one time it was easy to ignore because it would benefit so many different people. But now it's like taking U.S. dollars out of out of circulation. It's hurting our economy because you got people, and then you're talking about like Israel talking about uh, uh, respecting and abiding by our uh, laws and
Mm.
traditions and everything. We the land of the free religion. I mean, that's a whole nother problem in itself. You don't have to respect nothing about America to come over here and
Right.
just keep draining. And there has to be a limit. I
That's a
realize
good
that,
point.
but
Yes,
there
sir.
has to be, because you can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result, man. But y'all, I
Yeah.
thank y'all for enlightening the old guy. Appreciate
Go ahead, man. You know,
it.
and you bring up a good point in the fact that, uh, okay, let's just
What,
say
what
just for,
can I? But
for
but can I say
go, no,
something?
go ahead, yeah.
My compassion level for some of them is in my Christian manhood, in my Christian belief, man.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean that you suppose how can you say you love God and you don't love your brother? You don't feel some kind of compassion for those who are uh, escaping abuse and different so many different uh, you know
Well, and that's the thing. I see
poverty.
they have,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the thing. They already have something in place called, I forgot what it was called, where you can, I see the hand out, where you can, if you claim some kind of asylum from,
man. But listen, do you know the wait time when you got a real reality facing your family now? Do you know the wait
yeah,
time? You'll probably be dead and gone by that time they even contact
well,
you.
yeah,
So that's a whole nother ball game. That don't work.
yeah, yeah, let me finish my point. But see, the thing is, it's just too many pieces moving there. We already have a system in place where you can stand in line. And I can imagine how the people who stood in line and swore allegiance to the United States and became citizens, that's right. I mean, if you go down to Langley Park, man, if you don't speak no Spanish, you're in trouble. Every business down there in that whole little area has become, in other words, they are bringing out their culture and everything else and changing the United States from within. Have you ever heard of the Roman thing that happened called the Trojan horse? Rome
Yes,
was
of
taken
course.
down from within by its
Yeah,
depravity, its
right.
willingness to help people out, to do things and to take advantage of other countries around them. And so, yeah, they're cheap labor and all this stuff coming in to help Rome. But at the end of the day, Rome fell from within because their ideologies, culture, and everything else became United States, or yeah, excuse me, Rome's culture and everything. And so, the homosexuality, all that stuff, man, because Rome wasn't like that at first. They were some, solid people. But then when you bring all that extra stuff into there and they lived there for so long, they change you from within. Look at Dearborn, Michigan. Have you anybody ever on this call ever heard of the call a no-go zone? Anybody? Open up your mic. In Dearborn, Michigan, no-go zone. Totally, almost 100% Muslim. The Dearborn, Michigan police officers cannot go into that no-go zone because they quote unquote respect the Islamic religious views, and they said they have their own police department. How are you going to have a country inside of a country? That doesn't make any sense. They should wrap them all up and kick them all out because they have no allegiance to the United States, and that's what's happening. A slow erosion from within, and if we don't catch it and stop it, United States, I guess that's probably one of the reasons may not be in the Bible because we were destroyed from within by people we wanted to have compassion for. You can have all that, but just practical application of that is a monumental thing. I see all these people out here in front of in my area, in front of the store, 7-Eleven. There's homeless, and for whatever reason they're homeless. I can't just bring them into my house and minister to them because it wouldn't be a smart and wise thing to do. But maybe I can help them from another point of thing. And so they have these the shelters and things like that to help these people out. The folk to get them off the drugs and the influence or any psychological help they might have. So there's something in place for that, but they have to use the system. And because you have an urgent need, sometimes you do may get moved to the head of the line, but it has to be a serious and legitimate need. That's the only thing I can think of on that. Go ahead, Al. Mhm.
So, like me, I agree with Reg. There are definitely some difficulties when it comes to having or justifying, your reason for coming to the United States. All of this is really, the fault of the federal government.
Yes,
And it's
sir.
always been that way. And it's also been the fault of business. There used to be a time where, you had migrant workers who came across the border with work visas and things of that nature that usually come during the planting and the harvest season. And that's what Chavez out in California and Mexico were arguing about for so many years. But what's interesting about illegal immigration, so-called legal immigration, if you're going to have legal immigration and you have laws on the books to help
Yeah.
people go through the naturalized process, you simply create a pipeline. Why
Yeah.
is it that we can create a pipeline for everything else across the world, but not this? You can create a pipeline throughout South America. Okay, that says here, we're going to put in stations and say, hey,
What
you
about
want to come here. One, you can't cross the border illegally.
right?
Say again?
Yeah, you breaking up. Were you in the
I'm
bad
breaking
area?
up.
Yes, yeah, you in the bad area.
Am I here?
Yes, sir. You good now? Mhm.
No, at some point you got to, again, create some kind of pipeline that says, listen, you cannot come across the border illegally. So here's what's going to do. We're going to work with your government and say that, hey, if you get people who say that they have legitimate issues here,
Right.
and we investigate that, and it doesn't have to take a whole lot of time. If we can justify that you don't want to be here anymore, then we will establish your case through magistrates here in the country. And that magistrate has the sole person that's going to make, chances are 90% of the time, if you come here legally, if you come through the border entry, okay, your case will be heard and it will be adjudicated. You'll be given a date. The magistrate, for all intents and purposes, as long as you have not come here with any nefarious intentions, you will be granted asylum. However, if you cross the Rio Grande, okay, with a coyote or a cartel or something of that nature, if you have nefarious intentions and things of that nature, then we have to deal with you once we bag you up when you commit an illegal act. I mean, I understand that everybody has a certain amount of humanity toward this situation, and I agree with Reg. I mean, you have to have humanity. There's no question about that. But you also have to hold people accountable for their actions. And if we don't do that, then you create the problem that you have right now. But I go back to big business. If you hire an illegal citizen to do your job for you, you should be fined $10,000 a head. And every time you do it, it should be incremental to 15 to 25 to 30 and higher. That will get businesses to stop participating in cheap labor. You can't say on one side, we want to create jobs for America, but then you say you want to hire people for cheap labor who don't belong here.
And breaking up again.
There's something wrong with that. Okay. Yeah. And I'm not going after people who are coming here, who citizens open up a business and contribute to the keep breaking up. Okay, let me go upstairs. Maybe that's the issue.
Get a better signal.
But I really believe that the problem is big business, and the problem is the federal government. Stop trying to get people to to do things for free.
Amen.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, somebody was on mute. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's good.
That's all right. It's not a problem. But like I said, I don't believe that we should go after people most of the time. Sometimes you have to go after the policy. And if the policy is ineffective, you have to make the policy effective. But if you're going to have people migrating from South America, you got to create a pipeline for them. Okay, you got to say, you can't just come in and say, well, I want asylum. No, well, what are you running from? Exactly. What seems to be the problem? How is your family affected? How long has this been going on? And with these problems in tow, why should I allow you in here? What are you going to do to contribute to the republic? Okay, if you've got someone who comes here and they're hanging out at Home Depot and they've got great trade skills and things of that nature, again, I don't think that those people should be ran out of the country. It's like, listen, you've got trade skills. Let's get you naturalized. Let's get you doing what you need to do so you can open up a business and contribute to the economy. Mm-hmm. However, if you have nefarious people, and I think this is where the conversation really needs to lie. When you have nefarious people willfully entering the country illegally and causing harm, that needs to be dealt with. It needs to be smacked down. It needs to be stomped out. That's just all there is to it. Okay, but everybody seems to grieve for the mother and the child. I get that. Okay, but there are so many other nuances to that argument that go unnoticed. And those are the things that the federal government needs to enforce laws with. Now, some will say, well, Trump's being hard. How is he being hard? If you haven't done a damn thing about it for 50 years and somebody comes in and starts stomping hard, then everybody gets in an uproar. Well, okay, well, how can you do this? How can you do that? How can you do that? Okay,
mm,
well, first of all, you've never paid attention to the border. You've never paid attention to those politics. You've never paid attention to those policies. Someone tells you on a television program to be angry about something, and you get angry about it. But again,
yeah,
you don't look at the nuances. I want to go back to the pipeline, and I'll be quiet. This little pipeline that the cartel has coming up from Bolivia all the way up to the United States, they are
mm.
trafficking girls. They are having
Come on,
sex with
man.
women. They are forcing them to do things in order to get asylum into the United States
Yes,
or to
sir.
get to the United States. The absolute pain and misery that some of these people go through in order to try to get here
And
is absolutely unspeakable. It's unspeakable.
mm,
But no one seems to give a damn about that. They're only
yeah,
concerned about them as soon as they cross this border. That's the problem. So when we talk about
yeah,
humanity and compassion, you have to be compassionate all the way down the line, like Red said. But if you're not going to be compassionate about some 13-year-old girl who comes with her mother, and the
come on,
cartel is
man.
having sex with the mother and the girl in order to get them into the
Mm,
country, that's their payment. How can we call ourselves Americans,
come on, man.
Christians, people of humanity when we don't care about that? You need to address those issues. So it's a whole bigger argument here, because people get wrapped up in, well, citizenship. Okay. But if her mother was raped all the way up here, are we going to deal with that?
Mm, mm, mm.
Are we going to deal with
Crickets,
children being dropped over a fence
crickets.
and just let them walk into the country with no one to help them?
Yep, crickets.
You know, they always talk about how, oh, it's a myth that, you know, there's all that these children are missing. That's all a myth. It's not a myth.
It's not
Those children are being found
350,000.
every day. It's not a myth.
Mm-hmm.
These children have been put at risk, and you have to deal with that. So that's where I believe, well, you know, I mean, I'm no fan of any person in office, but I'll put it to you like this. If you're going to stop the immigration problem, yes, you need to close the border. But you also need to go to South America and says, if one more criminal crosses our border, I got time for your country. It's just that simple. Try me if you want to. That's simple. But no one's
Out.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and magnify that. Good points. Magnify that point, which is another overlooked point. They are releasing people from jail. They're criminals and sending them across our borders. What do you think you'll get in this country, man? The same people they're trying to get out now. What is it, MS-13, the Trinidad and Tobago, all these other guys, man, they didn't just, get in here by, they open the door and say, come on in and wreak havoc and crime to our country. Who does that? That's self-inflicted wound right there. Go ahead, Danny. And I see,
Well,
go ahead, Danny.
you just heard about.
Sorry for being long-winded,
No,
guys.
no,
Go ahead.
man.
No,
You
no,
good.
no.
Come on, man.
No,
Please,
good.
give me a break.
I know. No, this is called dialogue, sir, not monologue. Go ahead, Danny. No, no.
But I'm
Good
sure
points,
y'all
Al.
heard about the thing for Halloween night in Michigan, where they
Yes.
stopped that. They pulled
Yes.
that down, and see
What happened?
they,
Yeah.
What happened?
yeah.
What?
Well, they were about to cause some serious harm up there. I don't know what part of Michigan they were going to have it at, but yeah, the FBI caught on to it, and I guess they heard some chats.
What were they
and
going to
picked
do?
up on it. Kill some people. They were definitely going
Okay.
to take some people out.
Mhm.
Yeah, up there. So I don't know if it was a big party or something going on somewhere up there or whatever. But yeah, they were going to take some
Mhm.
people out, man. But they were able to stop it, man.
Yeah, yeah. And see, look at the big picture, man. It's not just Spanish people coming across that border, man. They are Islamics, jihadists who cannot stand the United States. They already got into our country in 9/11, brother, and ran two planes into two buildings and killed 3,000 American citizens. After that, you would think that we would be smart enough not to just anybody come across here because they want to claim asylum or this and that. They got some problems in their country. Because why does, their problem become my problem? Well, now it is because we let them in there and they bring their problems with them. We don't leave them behind. These people are still grounded and founded in some kind of you know, anti-capitalist hate that you just can't, it doesn't make any sense. I see the hand, Sean. And so by that, you would think the smart man would screen who comes into his house and wipe his feet on the Constitution and let it happen. As a matter of fact, if the truth be told, statistics prove that even after this date, Obama deported more illegal aliens than Trump has. Look it up for yourself. And because what? He saw it as a clear and present danger to the right and to the United States from within. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Sean. Am I
Clinton
lying?
also, not to cut you off, Clinton also did that in
Okay.
We can go back to his wife also said something about the illegals coming over.
Yeah,
They won't have it. So you need to do the research on that.
not just
Quite a few
today.
of
Yeah.
them did that. But go ahead. Sorry about that. Go
Mhm.
ahead.
Go ahead, Sean. Yeah.
Say this, right? I'm not a person that's sitting up here defending MS-13, gangs, cartels.
Oh, no.
I'm
No,
not, that's
not at
not
Yeah,
my
all.
you are.
position.
Yeah, you
Not
are,
at all.
Sean.
Not at all. No,
That's not
no.
my
Yeah,
position.
you are.
No. We don't think. I don't think that, bro. Nothing you
No,
said
yeah,
says
you are,
that, bro.
Sean.
Nothing you said says that, Sean. At all. Nobody thinks that, bro.
Point of view, brother.
Nobody.
What I attempt to do,
Oh, this, Sean.
what I attempt to
Anything you
do is
say, man. No, stop at this, Sean. Let me just a pause for a second. Man, be welcome. This is called dialogue. Everybody's
Yeah.
not going to agree on everything, man. We just going back and forth across the table. I'm not going to be mad at you because you hold that position. Please don't get it twisted. I hope anybody on this call doesn't. You
I
just
can
have a
have
point of view. Yeah, and what I'm saying, don't no, please, come on, man. Bring it, man. Bring the
I
juice.
I I,
Go.
I, I you know
Yeah, go ahead.
I respect you two guys, Alan and Roy. So
Mhm.
I hate to y'all advice, but
We
let,
respect you too, brother. Believe me.
Yeah. You
let,
say you hate to
let-
see us right. Is that what you said? You hate to see us being right?
all right. So let, let
Stop
me
it.
let, let
Stop
me
it.
let me do this, Roy. Let me do
Go
this.
Go
ahead,
ahead,
bro.
brother.
Go ahead, bro.
I just
Go
said
ahead.
this. I thought
Yes, sir.
about I thought
Mhm.
about something. I wrote it down. So I want to read it to you,
Go
and
ahead.
then afterwards, I like to hear your thoughts on it. Imagine a child is born in Texas. She takes her first breath, American air. She cries under the same flag that waves outside of the building, right? But one day, we, a politician or a president or somebody comes and say, you're not one of us because your mother crossed the border to find hope here. Now ask yourself this. Does her breath count less than yours? Is she less a citizen than you? Why should you say that she's not American and you are? Based on what facts? Because her mother did something years ago? I'd like to hear your question. I'd like to hear your answer to that.
You can answer that yourself, Sean. What's your answer to that question? Since you brought it up,
I think she's just as much a citizen as me. She's born
because of
here
what reason? Because of what?
because she was born in this country on our land, in our facilities, despite what her mother did. That
Okay,
does
so
and
I thought
and
we I thought we
and
addressed it earlier, but go ahead.
well,
I thought Al addressed it earlier. Yeah.
Give,
maybe
give me give, give, give me a ch- give me a chance to chime in here.
No, go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
great question. Great question. And I understand the impact of the
And you.
humanity behind the statement and the question. Okay, there's absolutely nothing wrong with a child being born and taking their breath in the country. None at all. And I would not say that she was any more human or any less American than I am. I don't think that's the question, Sean. That's not the question. And no one's saying that she can't be an American. No one's saying that she's not valuable, that her life is not valid. See, that's more of a humanity question as opposed to a legality. That what we're talking about is legality, not humanity. And I think that's where things get conflated. Is that people are more concerned about humanity without addressing the legality of someone's actions. But again, I agree with you. The 14th Amendment says that an individual born in a jurisdiction, and they seem to ignore, subject thereof, but nevertheless, she would be an American citizen. But it goes back to the statement I said before. If I want that child to take this breath in the country, I don't want her mother to go through horror getting here. I want her to go into the entry ports, make sure that everything is okay, make sure that she has all the medical checkouts she needs, and so that the child is born in a constructive and a safe environment. She obviously can't do that where she's from, okay? But again, it's up not just to the United States, but also to South America to make sure that that woman is not in any kind of trouble that she'd have to leave at all. But if she does, that it's done in a comfortable way, that she is not raped or taken advantage of by some of the most nefarious people that walk the face of the earth. I want that child to take a breath either in their own country safely or in this country safely. I simply think that it should be done legally. That's all I'm saying.
Well, see, and that good point out. And see, Sean, also just a matter of practical application. I see that hand, Hugh. You know, you're not only letting people in physically, but they're bringing not only their culture and all the stuff that comes with them, but they're bringing diseases. Look at California. It had a significant increase in pneumonia and dengue fever and some other stuff down in California. And by God's grace, they were able to eliminate it with the injections and things like that. But they didn't have that problem before. They had a massive influx of illegal people who don't have the medical care that we have up here. So not only are you putting the people that are coming across at risk, but the United States who get exposed to that stuff, whose immune systems aren't used to that kind of stuff. So you put people in danger and harm just from a medical standpoint as well. Go ahead, Hugh. I see that hand. Go ahead, brother Hugh. Let me just
Oh, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's something small I wanted to add. Just listening to everybody talking and everything like that. The only sad part about it is it goes back to the legality part of it. And the sad part about it is, unfortunately, as newborns, kids of age, toddlers, and no matter what have you, we pay for the sins of our parents.
Yeah.
And regardless if they did it legally or illegally, we reap those benefits. And the sad part about it is sometimes we experience it early, sometimes we experience it late. And the one thing that it is stated in the Bible is, regardless if it's fair or not, we are supposed to respect the laws of the land, regardless
Thank you.
of how we look at them. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that I don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? On this green earth, but at the same point in time, if I am putting myself in position to follow Christ and be more like Christ-like, and that is one of the things that I have to abide by, regardless if I like it or not, because it's not my law. When you step inside my house, then that's when my laws start, meaning that anybody that
There
comes
you
through
go.
my door, you
Come
understand,
on, man.
they have to abide by my laws. Whether it's leave your
Thank
putting
you.
the issue at the door, whether it's don't smoke in my house, whether
Mm-mm.
it's don't even go to the kitchen, just come straight and sit down. You have to abide by my laws. You might feel uncomfortable, you might not like it, and it
Mm-mm.
might stop you from coming to my house, but at least you know when you come to Hugh House, this is what you have to do in order to feel comfortable. And that's the only sad part about it, you know what I mean? But then you put the humanity part in on what I just said. You come in, you say, hey, look, man, I had a hard day or whatever. Now that's on me to say, hey, look, you know what? Yeah, I know I don't want you to take the shoes off, but you know what? You good, bro. Just go ahead and have a seat, or go ahead and grab you something to drink. That's the
Mm-mm.
humanity part of me now stepping in and saying, I'm being compassionate, I'm being empathetic, and I'm being considerate. And that's what I got to say on that.
Hey,
Excellent.
morning.
Excellent. Hey, Richard. Yes, sir.
Hey,
Man,
morning.
good. You. That's
You
good.
know, I just want to throw in my little 2 cents. It's just so sad. It is really a travesty that we live in a time where, and some basic principles and doctrines of a country, our Constitution, are being challenged. Now, I wasn't here for the earlier part of this discussion, but I will just say this. When I was in seventh grade, okay, we learned, we had to take civics
Yep.
in
Government.
Washington, D.C. public schools.
Right.
Good gracious, D.C. public schools. We had to take civics and government, and you had to pass those courses. And when we took those classes, we were taught that if a jurisdiction or a body or a nation had no constitution or had no borders, it was not a country.
That's right.
And it's very interesting that the progressive left and all of these new movements out here, they are seeking to remove the Constitution, and they want to strip away the borders of this country. I'm not against anybody coming to this country legally. But
Right.
just like my brother just said, you ain't coming into my house, walk in my front door,
Mm-mm-mm.
and just walk in the front door, and then decide you're gonna go into my kitchen and my refrigerator and eat my food, and you didn't even legally come into the entrance. You just walked in. That's called breaking and entering.
Trespassing.
By what I
Trespassing.
remember, or trespassing. Okay, so that's basically my opinion. That law, if you don't have any law and order in a country, you don't have a country.
Anarchy.
There is no. That's called anarchy. That's not a government. Back to you, Mr. Moderator.
Well, yeah, and Hugh, thank you very summing that up so appropriately, man. It's such a small thing that when people come in my house, whether they be visitors or uninvited, you still have to abide by my rules. And one of the rules is if you come in here uninvited, you subject to meet Smith and Wesson, and then we're gonna talk it after that. It's advance to be recognized. You shoot first and ask questions later because you came in unauthorized. And when you come in unauthorized, I don't know which intentions that you have when you come through my door. How
That's
can
right.
we look at it like
That's
that?
right.
Huh? I don't know what kind of intentions you have. You may be a friend, want to give me $1,000, $2 million, but I don't know that until I find out who you are and what your intentions are. And when you're coming across the border, all those people are coming in with different goals and objectives. One is to take the United States down. One is to seek asylum and refuge. Well, how do you know that unless you shut it down and check everybody that comes through the door? Please explain that to me.
But
Hey,
and
Kenny.
also, don't you have to answer those questions when you apply for citizenship?
Yeah, but
Why are you coming here?
well,
I
yeah,
don't know.
it's something called "Thou shalt not lie," Richard. How about that? I'm
Okay,
just saying. I'm
but
just
aren't
saying.
you
That is
supposed to declare?
supposed to.
Aren't you
You're
supposed to
supposed to.
declare why you are immigrating?
You're
Aren't
supposed
you
to.
supposed to declare whether or not you are from political oppression, or you are seeking whatever? I
Yeah.
have not ever seen
Well,
the application, but I believe that it, you know, there
but
has to be some reason that you
well,
have to put that.
well. See, this is the thing. This, you give a nefarious reason or incorrect reason. Ask yourself the question: how did in Aurora, Arizona, and various places around the United States get these pockets of MS-13 or Tren de Aragua to go into these cities, take over apartment buildings, kick the residents out, and run a drug cartel and human trafficking from within the United States. That's why I said you can't have a country within a country. It's only one country, and that's the United States. I see that hand raised. And so if you do that and you dismiss all this stuff, and because we want to be nice to everybody, you can't be nice to everybody. Tell me that. Some people out here mean you harm, brother. And you got to wake up and smell the coffee and get that in your head. Otherwise, your being nice will take all of us down. Go ahead,
Like,
Rich.
like they say, love them from a distance.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, Hugh. Go ahead, Rich. Not my house. And see, and this is the thing, man. There has to be prudence and good common sense to measure what is happening and taking place in the United States today. We have a Muslim getting ready to become the mayor of the great city of New York. And you scratch your head and say, how can that happen? This guy has already publicly stated his intentions. He does not like Jewish people. Should that be your first red flag? How did he get in this country? Oh, he was born in here. Wow. Oh, yeah, his country, his parents snuck in and he became a citizen that way. Are you serious? And then he's going to become the mayor of the great city of New York, which has about 300 million people in it, or a great number of people, police department, all that other stuff, and give
But
people a free stuff.
New York has one of the largest Jewish communities in the country.
Exactly. Precisely. But this is the problem. They're not Orthodox Jews. They're Jews in name only. And they become super liberal.
Oh,
I'm talking about super liberal.
And a lot of the rich ones are actually for
Contributing
him.
to it, yeah.
Yeah, it's
And see,
crazy.
so you talk about self-destruction. That's what's taking place in our country today. We are giving ourselves self-inflicted wounds. Just look at these guys who these truck drivers. They're not Spanish, are they? They are Indian, man. The Sikhs. Are you serious? And they've been denied access to this country 3 or 4 times. I mean, ICE was doing and immigration was doing their job. They kicked them out, but because of Biden, they snuck back in, and now they're causing hurt, harm, and mayhem. People have died. I submit to you, just use your brains and your heart. If these guys were not in this country, would the 6 people that we talked about on this platform be alive today?
Yeah, I think then they stopped the licenses also.
But yeah,
Then they
California,
cut them off in California. You can't even get a
federal
CDL
government,
license now.
yeah, the federal government, thank you, Danny. They have suspended their right to issue Class A CDL licenses. That's the top of the line, license for you guys who know this already. Is the fact that when you get a Class A, you can drive anything, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about the big guys. But with that comes great responsibility. You got to
Yeah.
put the brakes on. Huh? Go ahead.
One thing, it was so funny you just mentioned that because
Come
about,
on, man.
I want to say Wednesday or Thursday of last week, I was at one of the locations of my job. Truck driver pulled up, big semi truck. So he backing up, pulling up. It took him probably about 15, 20 minutes to park. So he
Danny not laughing. Danny not laughing.
it was funny. So we sitting up there, we like, man, what is he doing? One of the guys out of the workshop, because I work in the ship and receiving area. One
Yes,
of the
sir.
guys from the workshop came out and was like, man, he's still trying to park. I was like, man, so guy comes up now, don't speak English.
Come on.
He come up, don't speak English. I don't know what country he was from. He pulled out his license. Guess what's on the top of it? California. I said, I look at my my supervisor. I said, wait a minute. I said, shouldn't we be checking his license? I said, isn't California the state where they got all them them fraudulent licenses?
Well, let me throw this number out.
They always want to find loopholes.
Man.
Yeah, let me.
License and I mean all types of different things, and each time the different agencies need to tighten up on their investigations and button up all these little legal loopholes. I mean, that's from immigration to the license. I mean, in Virginia they were paying $10,000. This was like 5 years ago for CDLs and stuff.
Yeah.
It ain't just a California problem. It's a problem,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I feel like this, man. If that same child that Danny was talking about grew up to respect our laws, we ain't got a problem, and this country, and vow some type of allegiance to the United States, we ain't got a problem. We wouldn't have a problem. But the problem is they don't respect us once they get here.
So, Reg, why would you let him in?
Well, every case is different, bro. It ain't just them that we're talking about. We're talking about some serious people in need that's willing to go the legal route. And then we're talking about people that have a whole different agenda on their slate, man. So, that's what I mean, that certain investigations need to be tightened up and buttoned up, and there should be consequences to the other countries when they ship these people over to us. Or if that's the case, definitely. You don't just, that's part of the problem. The other problem is some country thinks that little of us that they're going to do that. Yep. Infiltrate our streets with criminals and this and that and the other. We can find out. We find out every damn thing. Excuse me. We find out everything else. Yeah. It ain't a one-sided thing. To me, just my opinion.
Hey, no, I was going to say also back to the trucking thing. Caesar, I had my numbers wrong. About 60,000 CDL illegal 60,000 licenses out there. It's 62,000. People out there with license. I'm talking about men and women.
2,000 more. 2,000 more.
2,000 more. It's 62,000. They
That's a
upgraded
lot
the
of
number
trucks,
on it.
man.
Yeah.
But you know
Yeah.
what? And people, let me say that these trucks, if they're not driven properly, become weapons, man. They are missiles,
Oh yeah.
and they can do a lot of harm and damage. You guys know that. You see the news, and all you can do is shake your head. Well, what could we have done to keep this from happening? Is my point. If they weren't supposed to be in here, birth or otherwise, why are we letting this happen? These are called self-inflicted wounds in the United States. And if we let it keep up, we might not be around for too much longer, man, because
Yeah.
their religion is hate for the infidel. If we do not worship Allah the way they say so, we got to go, man, including Israel. Just saying.
Yeah. I just found out something else too. A young man got killed by a drunk driver that was illegal, and he also got picked up twice before that for DUI.
And they
And
let
he
him
was
go.
under DUI, and they let him go under the other administration. I hate to say, but now here
Well, let
we
me
are. He's gone. But go ahead.
ask this question. Help me out when I try to comprehend. We got maybe they're paid protesters. I put it like that because we got some people out here who have been standing in front of ICE and what do you call it? Stopping the guys from going out and actually, you know, uh, capturing guys that are criminals and putting them in jail. And now, are they American citizens or what's going on around here? Because these people, I have no idea what they think they're doing in terms of these are the good guys. These are the guys that are really, trying to keep us safe. Talking about law enforcement. And if you doing this, then what are you doing? It doesn't make any real good sense where these people have just done some stupid stuff. I was watching this earlier. Let me share this with you guys. Check this out. This lady's running for Congress in the United States.
This idiot activist thought she'd be Chicago's AOC, only to possibly end up living in Chicago's DOC. As just outside their federal building, several Democrats actively running for election impeded on ICE's ability to enforce a law, where this cat girl running for Congress got tossed like she was on a ladies' live stream, to which getting lightly shoved basically became her entire personality.
This was, as I said, the third time that ICE has done this to me, but essentially a car was about to run over a fellow protester. And so I went to check on that person, and that was all the justification.
Car was going to run over a fellow protester. What are you doing standing in front of a moving vehicle, whether it's a police officer or not? Doesn't make any sense. What kind of brains do these people have?
An officer needed to pick me up and throw me to the ground.
As this is allegedly her checking on someone about to be run over. They're actually campaigning on the right to sit in front of moving vehicles, as if this makes them some sort of a modern-day freedom fighter, ignoring the fact that she said this was the third time she'd been shoved aside, as she really thought this would illustrate how evil ICE is, instead of highlighting how she's too dumb to realize the first two times did nothing to stop ICE. But that won't make her stop trying, as later that same evening she was seen sitting on the same driveway, only to be later seen again blocking federal vehicles.
ICE is enforcing the law.
Which she herself posted on social media to 10 million views. But now, the Department of Justice is indicting her over it, where she originally used this to campaign for Congress.
My name is Kat Abou-Ghazaleh. I'm running for Congress in the 9th District of Illinois. The Department of Justice is charging 6 people, including myself, with federal crimes for exercising our First Amendment rights near ICE's Broadview Processing Center.
But the fact that she may go to prison over this is finally settling in.
What do you think about those charges, though? They seem really serious. Conspiracy to impede or injure an ICE officer, assaulting or impeding that officer. Those are pretty big charges.
The charges, I think they're actually slightly different, but no matter what the charges are in the indictment, I plan on pleading not guilty. And this is a political prosecution, plain and simple.
Yeah, just to be clear, the indictment alleges that you and others, quote, surrounded a federal officer's vehicle, banged on its hood and windows, etched pig on the side, and impeded movement. Did you etch the word pig on the side of an officer's car?
I'm not speaking to the specifics of anything that's in the
Answer the
indictment right
question.
now.
Well, let's also
What?
watch the video of what happened that day that they are. What do you, when you see that, what do you think right now?
Tara, once again, this is my first time being federally indicted. Like I said,
Yeah.
I plan on pleading not guilty. The evidence will come out in court, and I plan on winning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
You ducked the questions. You hung up.
Did she just sign off?
Come on, man.
Rage-tweeting over
I heard that
something
yesterday.
is exactly why activists can actually serve in Congress. As sure, she can parrot all her social media programming at a protest, but offers nothing in terms of how this helps her movement. Other than giving her a viral moment to relive, every single time she logs onto social media, we're getting lightly shoved as the most interesting thing about her life, which is becoming a huge problem with the left as a whole, as they've effectively championed victimhood, where getting
There you go.
arrested, attacked, or
That's
anything
key.
that attracts pity immediately places them in the center of attention, as now the Democrats are starting to look like what I call Disneyland handicaps, where a while back they let anybody in a wheelchair go right to the front of the line, until basically everybody suddenly had a wheelchair. And that's the
This is a fact. The airlines have noticed that anybody who's claimed to be handicapped can get the front of the line privileges and they get put on board the airplanes, man. This is true. And then when they land at their destination, they have a certain amount of people who had just been designated wheelchairs. Everybody walks off but 2 or 3 people. Are you serious? They didn't really need it, man. They're taking advantage of this victimhood.
modern day Democrats. As at that protest, she's not even the only one being indicted, as that cat candidate is running for Congress, but also another cat running for a seat on the Cook County Board, and some straw man is trying to be a trustee. And honestly, I think it all leads back to that senator from California that got arrested by the feds. He literally went on a press tour for months, constantly crying about being cuffed, where I don't even remember his real name other than California's saddest sobbing senator. He never shares any individual political stances, any actual solutions to accomplish anything, but constantly gets to be on TV because
Right.
he's California's saddest sobbing senator. But to the Democrats, crying is like a form of currency. As that
There you go.
cat girl claims right-wingers call for her arrest because she's the only one that can stand up to ICE and Trump. But let's be clear, these activists have done nothing to stifle ICE.
First and foremost, those operations continue. They continue unabated. The temporary restraining order and the meetings with the judge and all the other accoutrements that comes with what her orders are that will have no effect on Operation Midway Blitz. We're going to go out there and we're going to accomplish the mission. We're closing in on 3,000 apprehensions as we speak. We're going to speed those apprehensions up, and now we're even going to go harder. Now, Harris, we go harder now.
That's right.
And I'm not worried about it at all.
As Trump's DOJ is now going months back to arrest all these ICE antagonists.
To date, we have charged 97 individuals
There you go.
with assault or impeding of federal agents engaged
Consequences.
in immigration enforcement operations, and we will continue to charge more as we obtain the evidence. Every American has a right to peacefully protest. What is not constitutionally protected is a right to engage in violence or to impede federal agents.
There you go. You have a right to protest, but not engage in physical violence and trying to stop people from enforcing the law. That's stupid.
By assaulting, doxing, or obstructing their operations.
And even in some recent scenarios, even shooting them.
And an officer-involved shooting. We
Yeah.
believe the officers in question were federal agents, DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and FBI.
So this Democrat cat running for Congress gets shoved aside multiple times, and now faces 14 years of prison time, taking her Gen Z TikToks to Gen
There you
Z.
go.
But somehow in her mind, that amounts to, I'm the only one that can stop the Trump administration. That level
Yeah, she can't run for Congress because she got a criminal record. Stupid.
of delusion should be disqualifying, but the Democrats don't actually have to accomplish anything. They're now the official party of vibes. Just look at the mayoral race in New York City. That
Yep.
local idiot is campaigning on free everything, with New York's governor stepping in to echo his same stupid sentiments.
Yep,
Only
yep.
the latest state, this isn't realistic.
We know that Mamdani does want to tax the rich more, bring it up about 2%. He can't do that on his own. You've previously said that you wouldn't be raising taxes. Have you reconsidered that stance?
No, I would say one energetic rally does not get me to change my positions, I assure you.
But don't let that stop the Democrats from giving him a 94% probability to win. You'd have to be hitting a crack pipe to believe that pipe dream. But ironically, I'm sure that's the one thing he'll make free. As again,
There you go.
it just proves the officially elite party of vibes. NYC can't make everything free, just like Chicago can't stop ICE. But I don't think it matters to their voters as long as they get their feel-good vibes from all those artificial likes from Chinese TikTok.
There you go. I like that guy, man. I mean, there you go. Sean, go ahead, man.
So interesting. We do know, right? We do know that immigrants they commit less crimes than natural U.S. citizens.
You don't want to say that, man. No.
It's facts.
No, it's not.
I can show it to you. I made sure because I know you would ask, so I made sure to grab a lot of citations.
Oh, wait. No. You have to redefine that statement. Illegal immigrants create what? Less crime?
So studies found.
What's the word illegal?
Let me clarify.
Well, by definition, illegal means you broke the law already. So, but you already start off the block committing a crime, right?
So, because U.S. citizens break more laws than immigrants. That's just data. I mean, we can talk about them breaking
more of us than
crime,
them. Okay.
but peg it to the situation. They are create U.S. citizens are creating more crimes in America than undocumented immigrants and immigrants in general. That's a fact. Now, I'm not defending them coming to the country and doing all that stuff, but I'm not also saying that when they have kids, we should extract them out either. I'm just telling you facts. So
What?
And this is a touchy subject.
No, it's not. It's a nice subject. Because we talk about the survival of the United States as a whole, sir. If we let too many people in who don't believe what we believe, guess what's going to happen to us? It's a very relevant subject. That's what happened to Israel. That's what happened to Israel. We let too many of the wrong people in the name of humanity.
Where you get that from? Where you doing that? Where you getting all that evidence from? I mean, about the Israel thing.
Because Israel, do you know Israel has a fence around this whole country? And do you know that once upon a time, the Islamists was blowing bombs up? You heard the what do you call it? Where they walk around with the explosives on their chest. When the last time you heard that on in Israeli news, when in the national news? Because they kept them out. They kicked them out, Sean. They got tired of being blown up every day because they didn't know who their enemies were.
Israel just had a terrorist attack a month ago.
Huh?
Israel just
but it's not on a regular basis, sir. It's like it used to be. It used to be very regular. Can't stop everything by default, but it's not less than it was before. Let me ask you this.
Let me say.
Let me go back to your original statement that undocumented, AKA illegals, commit less crime than regular citizens. Was that your statement, sir?
That's fact.
Okay, you stand by that?
That's facts.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Okay, so by default, when they came across the border, did they break the law?
So one breaking one law should deem them as lawbreakers forever. That's what you're standing on.
That's not my point. Did they break the law at that time when they crossed over?
Yeah. So
Yes or no? Yes or no?
I said, yeah, they broke the
They
law.
broke the law. Okay, if they broke the law, then by default, that puts them in that category as being criminal. And when you come over and you keep breaking that law by staying here illegally and you commit more crimes, that's why I mentioned Trende Awagwa and MS-13, who are by definition criminals, cartels, lawbreakers.
What I think you're doing, Roy, is you stigmatizing a group of people based off a small majority of people, and you're trying to say
No, I'm not saying. I'm not. I just. Who did
that's
I
what it
mention? Did I
sounds
mention
like.
all? Did I mention all Spanish people?
You said that there's a group. You said they broke the law. They came into.
Who did I say? Who's they? Did I tell
I'm gonna repeat. If I don't cut you off, please don't cut me off. I'll be respectful to you if you be respectful to me. Well, I'm gonna be respectful to you anyway. But
I'm gonna be the same.
The statement you made is they come over here, they break the law, then they continue to break the law by staying here, and then they commit more crimes while they're breaking the law. That's not accurate. That's probably accurate for a small group of people, but you're trying to paint them all like that, and that's not fair. That's not a fair assessment.
Well,
that would be like saying.
Can I respond?
Sure.
Can I respond?
Sure.
Okay. I said they. When I say they, let me make it specific. Trende Awagwa and MS-13, the cartels. Did you hear that word come out of my mouth?
I now hear it coming out of your mouth.
No, it came out before. You just wasn't listening. It came out before. I can rewind the tape. I said the cartels. And I said that these are the guys that are criminals. I defined them as criminals, right? Did I paint the whole population as criminals?
Said that about 2 seconds ago, 2 minutes ago. That's what you said.
Yeah. Did anybody else hear me?
All right, we're gonna go back and I'll listen to the tape, but
You listen to the tape. I'll post it at the meeting. Yeah. And so by saying that, I defined who exactly was breaking the law. And when you're breaking the law, whether you're a cartel or not, you still broke the law. And that's why you said, yes, they broke the law. So everybody that crossed the border, let me say very specifically, by definition, is a criminal, which included what? Just a few or all of them?
There is a segment. When you break the law, you come over this country, you break the law. When you first come over this country, illegally, you break the law. But that does, but the majority, what I'm saying, which is correlates to the data, is saying that documented and undocumented immigrants that come here, majority of them don't commit crimes on a consecutive basis compared to U.S. born citizens. That is a fact. What I'm saying.
Why is that point?
What you're saying, which I would love to see the data, is you're trying to say that they're committing crimes continuously. Now, if you say MS-13, that's different. That's a small segment.
Okay, let me say it. Let me put it like this. Yeah. When you break the law the first time you're coming over here, are you still a criminal or does it go away? You still broke the law, right? When you came in my house illegally, because you stay here and don't do anything else after that, were you still a criminal? Once you stole, by definition, you become a thief. Because you don't do it anymore does not absolve you from the criminal that you had before, aka our sins. Once we were born into this world, we are sinners. Because we stay in this world does not erase our sin. Can I make any more plainer than that?
I don't agree with you at all.
So you're not a sinner. Once you're born into sin,
if I drive
into sin, no. Once you're born into sin, are you by definition a sinner?
So when you're born again,
somebody help Sean out. Somebody help Sean out.
Boy, you do this every time. But I'll
do what every time. I'm just
trying to. You're cutting me off.
Okay.
When I make a statement.
No, what I'm saying is,
I'm done with it. You got it.
You think that length or the capacity to stay someplace absolves you from your criminality. Once you become a sinner, or Sean left, man, you're still a sin. You're still, once you're born into sin, you're always a sinner. How can you can't absolve that? It's the same principle. Sean, somebody call Sean back up. Go ahead, Al. He hung up. Incredible, man. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. And it's the same
I think
principle.
I think some of that is a distinction without a difference, but that's
Really?
that's a
You-
that's a different argument altogether. But I think it just should handle that better with respect to with respect. But anyway, with respect to illegal criminals
Yeah.
are in fact criminals. Yes, they are. There's no question about that.
How long you stay? Yeah.
I think the point that he was making is that there was a certain blanketed statement over those who may not necessarily be contributing to criminal activity, but nevertheless, we're in the weeds on that. We're in the weeds on that.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, I got that. Yeah, I got that. But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't absolve you from your crime. You can't just ignore it and think it's going to pretend it never happened. It did happen. And so you have to what do you call come to terms with what you did. If you don't, you remain in your criminal environment. And by definition, I've seen, just human nature by itself. Once you sin, you continue to sin. You don't stop sinning unless you come to know Jesus Christ can save you from your sins. Same thing is true, human nature. By sinning, you always, because what? You minimize the gravity of the sin or the fault or the crime. No, that's just a small thing. No, it's not a small thing. Sin is sin. Stealing is stealing. Trespassing is trespassing. That's why when they come and get you, you have no leg to stand on because you know that you did not come to terms because they gave you what's this thing where you come before a judge and you plead your case and you say, well, I did come across here illegally, but now I want to kind of make amends with that, with the justice system in order to make things right and I can start fresh. That's the same thing you do with God. You're born a sinner. And by definition, if you don't receive Jesus Christ as your savior and you have not made an adjudication for that sin through Jesus Christ, you're going to go to hell. Is it a bad thing? Yes, it is. Why? Because you never went to the judge, who's Jesus Christ, who can forgive you for that sin. It's not that hard. I don't know.
I know. I don't. As far as the crime thing, I just had a small issue with that. As far as the data, as he said, I mean,
yeah,
that's hard to nail that down. I'm not gonna. That's a whole nother subject to me. As far as finding that out. I mean, you may have paperwork in front of you, but that's. I mean, crime is committed every day, man. I mean,
thank you.
Through everybody. A lot of people out there. But far as trying to narrow it down to a certain number, man, I just can't hang on that.
Well, it's the fact that okay, so what's the point in bringing that up? That that this happens, and the people who broke the law by coming in here are just going to become prime citizens now? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what your common sense is telling me? That okay, man, I messed up. I came in here and I did wrong, but from this point on, because I didn't even go to the judge or go to the people and tell them, look, I broke this law, and now I'd like to be forgiven for it. And can we start fresh? If that never happens, you're going to continue to do bad things. And like I said, some people come in here and they have bad intentions. So is it my good thing to try to weed those people out? Because people do have legitimate reasons why they want to come here and have sick asylum and all this stuff. Go ahead, Danny.
I was going to throw this in too as a question as well. Let's just flip the page and say, okay, we leave here and go to a different country.
Right.
What's going to happen to you when you get to that country? How are you going?
I want to know. Huh?
There you go. And if you break any laws over there, you may lose a hand, a finger, or get caned in the back, or a whole bunch of stuff. And they ain't gonna sit there and look at you and go, well, I think you're a nice guy. Yeah, you made a mistake. No, they're gonna take respect. They're gonna take you out some kind of way. they're gonna show you what's happening over there. So, I mean, if you want to flip the page on this whole thing, it's totally different if you go somewhere else and see what happens to you.
Why should we be any different? I mean, like I said, it's called self-preservation. And
Yeah.
when we bend the roles and fold the edges and bend the corners just to accommodate people who are known criminals, then that's just, setting us up for failure. And that's exactly why we have it. We have a collapse of society within. I mean, look at these kids running around snatching stuff off the racks, man. And California passed a law. This was a legal law in California that if you stole anything in New York too under $950, you will only get a misdemeanor if you got caught. If you got caught, now that's a law. Does that law make sense? No, because you go ask the merchants that it's okay for them to give $950,000 worth of merchandise away when they're trying to sell it to make a profit. I don't think they would agree with that. So where's the common sense come into this equation? Go ahead, Augustus. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. I'm at a place where I can't talk too much, but I just want to
Yes,
really. I kind of got where Sean's coming from. Illegal immigrants can be categorized into perspective. Those who had visitors visa and overstayed and decided to make a home here. That could be termed illegal, and there are those who come through the border illegally. So when the term is used, like one time I said immigrants are kind of dirty word because the way it's being the way it's being presented, I can understand it's a political issue because basically I think that's what it is, and so the easier way to make it work is to connect the crime rate to immigrants. But I would like to just side with Sean a little bit that America has always had the highest crime rate in the world before the immigrant issue came around. From Mount Baker to John Dillinger to the guy, his girlfriend, who were going across Oklahoma shooting everybody. So America has always been like that. So to solely, because now you may not know it or we may not investigate it, but once the word immigrant is being used, people look at you funny because they think because the way it's being used, and you're talking about the human mind, the psychic of the human mind can be programmed that way. So you see people will come up and just, once you're an immigrant, you look like Indian or you look, now we're black, so they will not know I'm an immigrant until I speak. So it's done in a way where it's become undesirable for those of us who just came to this country, regardless of whether we came here legally or not, because the word immigrant is just we'll try to qualify it in different ways, but you are Caesar. You may not be somebody who's down south who has a different opinion and a different perspective of what is going on. Because I know people, like Trump's first term, there were one or two people who got shot, and this guy was saying that he should go back to the country and open fire and shot 2 or 3 persons from India. And why it is not maybe the Trump's way of doing things, but that people who he's dealing with, especially who he's speaking to, they will interpret things differently. So, but to go back to what Sean was saying,
yes, sir.
Clearly, I mean the illegal, the undocumented immigrants in America. I don't know what would be the percentage, because the last time when whatever talked about, I think was around 8 to 9 million, which is just over 1% of the total population. So if all the crimes being committed in America cannot be done by only immigrants. So clearly, I heard Danny was saying that the numbers may not be true. It's impossible to think that less than 1% of the population will be committing all of the crimes in America.
Good point, Augustus, man, excellent point. I think that just in respond to that, can I please respond to it? Is the fact that we have 350 million American citizens, and you only have say, okay, let's give just a soft number of maybe 50 million illegals. By definition, they are a lower percentage of the population. I got that. That didn't go over my head. But when they crossed illegally, my position is that 50 million broke the law to begin with. So if, statistics and all this other stuff and data can be manipulated to present a point or a counterpoint. And all I was doing was presenting a counterpoint by stating that, yeah, but because it's less of them, okay, Bureau of Crime Statistics, the FBI, Black Americans only have 13% of the population, but commit how much of the crime in the United States? Anybody know?
Yeah, but you see, if you look at it,
see, yeah. So the statistics are there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that. Oh, okay,
yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm not disagreeing with you. When you come in legally, you break the law already. But like I told you, there are some who came here, they were getting visas, like maybe visiting or student visa or work visa, whatever we may call that. They came here. Maybe we can begin now to count them as illegal if they overstayed and did not go through the legal process to either renew or rectify the status. You know what I mean? So that could be termed illegal. So not everybody who is illegal came over the border. So you know what I'm saying?
Right,
so,
right.
So
that's
yeah.
true.
So come back to that point again. And now, like when you talk about the black population be 13%, true. And but if you look at the proportional the proportional presentation of the population, you were able, if we go down to skew it to look at it from that perspective and begin to look at the crime rate, obviously, yeah, black people, will still be, committing a good bit of the crime.
Exactly.
But again, what I'm saying is like white people there are different level of crimes that people commit every day. So to my point, what I'm trying to say is like, I understand everything because for me, I'm one of those who don't even like people coming to the United States illegally. That's not even right. And my view is that America can't cater to the whole world. You know what I'm saying? It's not fair for the entire world to put the problems on the United States. That's not right.
Say it again, Augustus. Say it again.
So I'm just being fact, but what I'm saying is like the word immigrants is being used. And the way the whole scenario is being played out. I don't know if it is counterproductive, even though we know that at the end of the day, we want to set issues straight and make sure that America is not because to tell you the truth, a lot of people will just easily come through the United States and become a threat. It's easier to do that. You know what I mean? So,
thank you.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at from both sides. You know what I mean? It's like because now, like I said, the word immigrant these days, it depends on who you're talking to. We can all talk because we're all intelligent people who got different perspective of life. But other people may take it differently. You know what I mean? Like, hey.
Well, yeah. Excellent points, Augustus. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. Good to see you again, brother. What's going on? Yeah, we but see, Augustus, this is the thing. The whole premise is okay. This is my home. I was born and raised here. And when I have people who come across the border who are not only a perceived threat, but an actual threat, am I just going to continue to let that happen? Hugh said it excellently, man. When you come into my house, you have to obey my rules. And if my rules state that you have to stand in line in order to get here, then you got to obey those rules. Now, if you're just going to bum rush the line and bum rush across the border and talking about, I got problems in my house, well, why does that become my problem? I'm not trying to be unimaginative or unfeeling, but you stay over there and take care of your problems over there. Like when I have problems over here, I take care of the problems inside my house. Why is that such a big ask? Because what you're gonna do is with your mindset and your culture and everything else, you're gonna bring your problems over here, and then they become my problems anyway. So not only do I have to deal with my internal problems I have here, but I have to deal with your problems as well. If that sounds selfish, I'm just saying.
It's not selfish.
Help me out.
Yeah,
help me out.
No, that's what I'm agreeing with you. That's what I'm saying. It's not selfish. That's what I just said earlier.
I'm just saying
You know?
generally. Yeah.
Yeah, because we can't I hate it when I see everybody thinking the best way to live is to come to the United States. And I can tell you that those who, like, for example, who live in Africa, living well. I mean, when they come here, they just come like my brother.
Come on, man.
My brother who just came for a medical, and he's been going, but he left here since 2010 or 11. You know what I mean? He worked with the state of New York for a while, but he just can't stay in the United. He just, for some reason, he just can't just settle down in America. He just don't like being here. I mean, not that he hate America, but just that he just don't feel. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that there are people living back home. So for people to think the only way you can make life is to come to the United States, I think it's wrong. I think it's taking the whole world problem and putting it on the United States, which is just very wrong. I mean, I agree with that, and to tell you true, I'm the champion of that, because even people from back home, when they talk about coming to the United States, I'm like, you want to make anybody to feel bad. I say, well, I mean, what you coming to do? I know people who came here, they don't even have high school education. Yeah, from Africa. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And there are a lot of them here who don't even have high school education. So when you coming to the United States?
Illiterate, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's just the situation we find ourselves in. It's good. And let me just say this and I'll be done. I have a friend who's a traveling nurse. It's based in Arizona. She was saying the same thing. She said, you know what? I appreciate what the Trump administration is doing, because we need to take care of our problems back home and take care of our problems so that we don't put everything on this country. And she was saying it the right way. You know.
And that was my argument from the beginning, is the fact that we have to take care of home first, man. As a matter of fact, the scripture mandates that we take care of home. Any man that does not take care of his own house or anything else is the same as an infidel. We're supposed to guard and protect that which God has trusted us to. And if we're not good stewards of that, then, it's not going to look good in God's eyes, because God gave us all these things in order to help for our people and our kids and next generation to grow up in peace and harmony. He's not going to always be that. I got that. That's the ideal situation. But at the end of the day, God going to hold responsible for making sure that we protected our home? The military people on there will tell you that, yeah, we signed up, man. We signed up what? Protect the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Wow. Would the domestic include those who cross the border illegally? I think it falls into that category. Tell me if I'm wrong. Crickets are my new favorite insect. I tell you, I told Danny that.
Let me just share something with the group quickly. Okay, for example, we had a situation in Cameroon. It's an African country, West Central African country, just last week. I was, I believe, 15 or 16 years old, and that's like 44 years ago, 44, 45 years ago. This guy became president. And that's 45 years. Right now, he's incapacitated. He's seriously, he hardly stays in his country. He stays most of the time in France, in a hospital. But he's still winning elections by wrecking it. You know what I'm saying? So, and they're sitting there, they can't handle it. So the thing that only Allah is to come to the United States. You know what I'm saying? And this guy, you know what I mean? And wrecking the country. It's crazy. There's another one that Yoweri Museveni. He's been there since I was in high school, 40 so many years again. And he thinks he's the only one that can be president of this country. And every little thing, then they create the political tension. And then these are the people who talk about the BRICS. And these are the very people who's talking about bringing the US dollar down. These same people who got people running to this country to live in it, and they talk. So, I mean, like I said, it's just the way the immigration, but to tell you the truth, some of the stuff that go back in other countries is just a mess. You know
exactly. What I mean? I get it. But Augustus, let me ask you this.
We can't bring everybody to this country thinking that we're solving the problem.
Say it again. We can't bring everybody. Augustus, and you were born in another country, right? And then you came over here?
Yeah.
Okay. So you of all people know that did you have to, do certain things in order to become a citizen here? Or you just walk in and just wipe your feet on the Constitution and say, I'm here.
No,
Ain't nothing you can do about it.
I went to the embassy, didn't. In
Come
fact,
on, man.
I came with a diversity visa.
Okay.
So it just for me,
Yeah.
I decided because my sisters were already here, so I said, let me just try this,
Yes,
you
sir.
know. And then I did that, and I
Man.
won the visa. I went through the process. I was
Okay.
given a visa, came here legally, and that's how it was.
Was it
But I told
easy,
people,
Augustus?
and I told
Wa-
people,
was
and
it-
I told people, just a second, I told
Mhm.
people, if
Man,
I
this
did
is
not
key.
have legal status in America, I would not stay here.
Okay. There you go. And
I
was
mean,
it easy, Augustus? Was it easy? Was it a little difficult, right? It wasn't, you know,
no, it
do
was
this
not.
and do that.
It was not. I would not say it was difficult because once
It
they
wa-
cleared me, I
Mhm.
went through all of the forms. I went
Yes,
through the
sir.
interview and met all the requirements. It was not difficult.
Okay.
They didn't stop me.
Right, right.
Once I met the
So
requirements were all there, and I met it.
So if you play by the rules, Augustus, you can come in. We can welcome you in, right? You're good to go. Augustus, I'm glad you're
Exactly.
here, man. I'm glad you're here. Because I wouldn't have
Yeah,
known
you
you if
see,
you had did that. Go ahead, Fred. I'm serious. I mean that from my heart, man. I mean that from my
yeah,
heart.
but
That's it.
no, yeah, I agree. But see, you see, here's the thing, right? But I would tell people,
Red. Red. Augustus still speaking. Augustus still go ahead. And then you, Reg. Go ahead, Augustus. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
glad you're here, man.
I was saying, and I advise people when they come here and they are not documented. I mean, I can't understand how will you want to be in a country, whether America or any other country for that matter. Because I can remember Liberia was flourishing back in the 70s and the 80s. We had the same problem that America is having today. We had people coming from all because we were using the US dollars.
Wow.
So when people couldn't come here, so everybody was going to Liberia almost the same way. So we had different group of people, and we had the same problem that America is having today. The exact same thing. In the 80s, this group of just like you see the Spanish and the Latinos here, we had with our neighboring country came to the border. You know, we're not like tough in the border. Just you see the America is. They all came there. The next thing you know, they see the citizens. When? You know what I'm saying? And they were in the thick
Same
of
thing
the
happened in
Civil War.
Liberia. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they were in the thick of the Civil War.
So the same thing happened in the United States, can it? Yep. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
That's my
So
point.
I understand where America is coming from right now. And it's something that I've been in my heart to desire to see. In fact, when George Bush was there, when we were talking about the immigration, augmenting or amending the immigration laws, I was so excited about that because that's what needs to be done. Some kind of thing need to be done to rectify the situation. You know what I mean? Then to have gotten to this point. I mean, it's inevitable where we are right now because it should have been solved years ago.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah. Go ahead, Reg. Yes, sir.
Hey man, listen, I'm so happy that you went through the process, man. You're
Yes, sir. Come on,
you're
man.
a good friend to have, a good Christian brother, man. I love you, man. But I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about America?
I mean, first thing is like Liberia was founded by free slaves from America. So even before coming, we knew a lot more about America. And like any other Liberian, the first choice of any country would be America other than Liberia.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that bond, the first group of immigrants are white immigrants in my country that I opened my eyes to see were Americans. You see what I'm saying? So our education system is similar. Government is the same Republican kind of government, same setup and everything. So and like I tell people, yeah, America is not a perfect country. But among all of them, it's still a better option than most countries are. And that's why I try to advise some of my African brothers with the China and Russia stuff because of all the situation that's happening in China and Russia. There's no way China can be America. There's no way Russia can be America. Maybe you guys don't know much about what USAID did in back home. And USAID had an other they call USIS, a United States Information Service. So that's how we had access to knowing more about America because it was like information. They got VOA, the Voice of America is another media outlet that were broadcasting from Liberia. And Liberia was the point of broadcasting to the rest of Africa, because of the relationship we have with America. And even when it comes to intelligence, we have what they call the Omega Tower, was operated by the CIA and American intelligence agencies in America to monitor South and East Africa. They got one in Egypt for North Africa, but the whole West, Central, South, and East Africa was monitored from Liberia. So that's the kind of relationship we have with Liberia. So, I feel more at home, and anywhere you take it, I would still take America above any other country. There's no question about that.
Okay.
Amen.
That's what I'm talking about.
And to add one more thing, the Battle of Normandy, and Liberia King was very pivotal in the Battle of Normandy, because Hitler were blocking supply, so the United States used Liberia as a decoy, and that's how our seaport was built. That's how our airport was built. So they would take the supplies from Liberia and take it straight to North Africa, and that's how they were able to get into. And so it's amazing. It's amazing, man.
Marine battle. The Battle of Normandy, that was a Marine battle, man.
Oh, yeah.
Liberated Liberia. All right. My bad.
Yeah. Man.
Well, I also, listen, it's a whole lot of places I've been, and it's a whole lot going on at home, man. This is the country I fought for. I love.
Yes, sir.
Every place in the world, man. You know, this is still home, and this is my home, man. Whether it falls short or not, man. I still think it's hope, and I love this country, man. You know.
Amen. Bless your heart, man. Thank you for your service. Yeah, well, we're gonna go ahead and wind it down, brothers. We've kind of reached the end of the subject because it's too late to go into another subject. But I think that it's all worth talking about. And you know, sometimes it's strong medicine. I get that, but that's what it's all about, is the fact that we have to talk about the uncomfortable things. We may not always agree, and we have different facts and statistics and data, but that's where we come together and compile everything and look at it and spread it on the table and say, okay, what is truth and what's not truth? And like I said, the point was, by definition, all of us are criminals when we're born into this world. It's being hell bent sinners. It's just one of those spiritual facts. And so, with that, then we have to understand that Christ has came and was propitiation for those sins, or a substitute. And in that, then we make the crooked straight. God has said that He has come to save the world and to give His only Son for that world. And so, wow, when you understand those facts that cannot be negotiated or manipulated, then you come to your senses that what? If you don't do what God says or God's prescription for coming to Jesus Christ, then you're going to fall short and you're going to get what you deserve, which is hell in eternity. Is that a fact, brothers? Tell me where I'm wrong. And so it's the same principles are there. If you break the law, there will be consequences. And if you don't have any consequence for breaking the law, you're going to continue to break the law because you're going to think in yourself that if you got away with this, well, you can get away with that. And then before you know it, you're on that path to what? Doing which is not correct. And it really is evil in God's eyes because, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. And that's the perspective that we have to take. Whatever reason you have for breaking the law doesn't excuse you from breaking the law. True or false? I was hungry. Okay, so I'm gonna go steal some groceries from Target. Does that excuse you from breaking the law, brothers? Legitimate, yeah, you were hungry. You had nothing to eat for about 4 weeks, but you have vehicles and things out here to supplement the fact that, you don't have to commit a crime in order to, do something which you thought in your head was legitimate because you're stealing somebody else's property. That's what it comes down to. You're stealing their labor. You're stealing all their effort to make sure the food was there and available for you to come in and steal and eat. Tell me where I'm wrong. Does it make sense? And so, okay, you come and drop a baby in the United States. Well, you weren't supposed to be here. So you're going to reward that baby by becoming a citizen? I don't think so. And that's not what the 14th Amendment says. Look it up for yourself. There's no debate on that. And unfortunately, we have a lot of people who twist it and make it seem to do what they wanted to do, which is, give people the right. You have no right. There is no other country in this whole world, free world, that you can drop a baby and that a kid automatically becomes an Italian, a German, Canadian, Australian. It just doesn't exist because it's a stupid and practical assumption that that's how it's supposed to be. Why? Because you said so, or because what our laws say? And Hugh, thanks again, man. You made it so plain and clear. When you come into my house, you have to obey my laws. And one of my laws is that that's not true. Whether you want to be a true doesn't make it true. Facts don't care about your feelings. I repeat that. Facts do not care about your feelings. Look, before we go, like Al had to go. We don't have a sponsor for today, but check this out, brothers. And this is I think a good perspective on this thing here. If I can get it to come up. Hold on a second. This is old man wise stuff. This is good stuff here, man. This is good stuff. Hold on a second if I get it to come up. Yeah. This is good stuff. Check this out, brothers. Tell me if it makes sense. Nope, wrong one. Wrong one. God dog it. Here we go.
Life gonna test you no matter who you are. Rich, poor, black, white, don't make no difference. Everybody got a storm with their name on it. But hear me now. Storms don't last forever. Rain stops, sun come back, and you realize you're stronger than you thought you were.
One more time.
Life gonna test you no matter who you are. Rich, poor, black, white, don't make no difference. Everybody got a storm with their name on it. But hear me now. Storms don't last forever. Rain stops, sun come back, and you realize you're stronger than you thought you were.
Make sense? Everybody got a storm with their name on it. And it's going to test you. Rich, poor, black, and white. And they said the sun going to eventually come out. And hopefully you come out stronger than you was when you went in the storm. And that's how it goes. And this one, since we talked about it earlier, about the fact that sometimes laughter is a good thing. And let me say this. This is what happens when you break the law. There's consequences to these actions. And this is just a light humor there. But these people were taking items that did not belong to them, and they got consequences for this action. Check this out. That's right. That's right. There you go. That's right. Ooh, lit him up. Lit him up.
$20? No, too much money. Okay, quick. Just pick it up and go. Got it? Oh. Come on.
Okay.
I was just looking at some of that.
Huh?
I was just looking at some of that 2 days ago.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And they like comedy, but you're taking something that didn't belong to you. AKA citizenship. Now check this out. This is heartwarming right here. I like this one. When somebody blesses you, and this is really, I wish I had a store to do this here. Hold on, let me see if I can get this to share. Okay, here we go. Hold on a second. This is just beautiful right here. Check this out. This kid, here you go.
This store owner has a tradition. Whenever a kid brings in good grades, he lets them pick anything they want for free.
My name is Bryant, and I'm going to show you my report card. I have an 85.
Let's go. You see? Guys, you see that? He improved from 75 to 85. You get to grab whatever you want. Go ahead, grab it.
The kid then decided to grab bread, eggs, and milk for his family instead of himself.
Wow. That's all you want. Keep going, man. Grab whatever you want.
I can get this one
For Mother's Day?
Yeah.
Of course, man. Oh, man, that's nice, man. You know what? I sell these, and you give her this too for Mother's Day. I sell these for $35, but I got you, all right? I'll pay for it for you. Oh, that's all you want? You sure? All right.
Man, come on, man. Little young guy.
You're welcome.
Bread, milk, and eggs for his family, brothers.
Yeah, I saw one of those with I think the same store with a young lady that came in with good grades too, and he
Yeah.
did the same thing for her.
Probably the same guy. Bless that store owner, man. You know, bless that store owner. And see, the lesson learned is, don't think about yourself, think about others. You don't have to steal the food because you think you deserve it. You don't have to steal citizenship because you think you deserve it. That's not how the world works. Just saying. Just saying. So our sponsor for today is Glade and Pledge. You spray the dust to surfaces and it'll remove all the dust from your house if you do the work. Or you can call some people in to do it for you. But this is how it's going to work. And so today's lesson, boys and girls, is talking about citizenship and how important it is. It's nothing to be ashamed to be a United States citizen, but we have it and we gave it, the worth that it deserves, in a sense where you just can't walk in and just grab it, and that's supposed to be how it goes. So yeah, good conversation. It may have seemed to be political, but we're talking about moral issues. Stealing something that doesn't belong to you, whether it's citizenship, milk, eggs, and butter, or trying to make sure that that you get what you think you deserve. That's not how the world works. And so, brothers, we got anything to say before we close on down? It's been beautiful, man. Anybody got anything? Danny, Reggie, Hugh, Zink, Augustus, Aaron. We're gonna shut it on down, man. It's been good. It's been beautiful.
I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead, bro.
Keep thinking about as far as the last video you just showed with the guy in the store and the crates and everything like that.
Yeah.
That's the key part about the word selfless.
Mm-hmm.
Think about yourself less and other people more.
Man, please. How about that? And he's doing that. And that's what we do when people come into this country. Augustus came in, he played by the rules. He signed the documents, and now he's a United States citizen. That's how it's supposed to go. You don't just keep cutting line and think somebody owe you something. And the guy got good grades. Now, I'm sure he told his little buddies, man, you don't have to steal, man. All you gotta do is what? Put the work in. Get good grades. Be respectful to your teachers and those with authority over you. And man, something's gonna happen. Even now, you don't have to wait till you get out of high school for that to happen. You can go to this guy's store and grab as much as you want and anything you want. Boy, can't get enough of that, man. And so now, this young man, when the hoodlums out there want to ask him to do crime and steal stuff or roll old ladies and old men, he probably will not be one of those guys. Why? Because now he sees that he has alternatives. He may not have a dad. He may not have some things that the other kids got. But guess what? He got this store owner who's standing in the gap for him. Come on, brothers. You can't get no better deal than that. And we know kids in our lives that we affect, man. And, we have to be the surrogate uncle, the surrogate dad, to make sure that they don't go off of the rails, man. Do something good for them, not only for your family. And this is what I'm saying. This is what this is all about, man. Helping those who can't help themselves, even after they get born. How about that? So you can do it before they get born and after they get born. Let me share this quick story. This guy I respect highly. I think I shared it before. He's a school down in D.C. and it's like Bishop G.K. George, a school for black men, exclusively for black boys, right? And I said that's normal, and they trying to do some nice things, make these guys come up to be lawyers and doctors or whatever. And he was kind of upset about my stand on abortion. Why you always talk about abortion? Why is that? I said because it's just one of those things that God talks about. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, it says in the Bible, thou shalt not kill, doesn't it? Well, yeah. Does that include after you get born or before you get born? And so he got kind of quiet. He said, well, my top priority in this world, which is a good and noble thing, that he wanted to teach these young guys, young black men, can't say white, Spanish, and all included, is these young black boys. And that's okay. That's you. You feel that's what God called you to do, to become good, strong black leaders and black men in this world. I said, that's fine. But you know what my mission is? He said, what? I said, to get these black boys born so they can come to your school. Crickets. His lip was quivering, and he stopped talking to me after that. Wasn't a whole lot of conversation. Did I say something that was wrong? No, I just punctured his ideology that he thought that he was doing the greatest thing in the world. Well, life and death, man, how can you get more important than that? Because these people have this mindset that once a black baby get born, that they are destined to become poverty-stricken and this and that and all that. That's not true of all black babies, man. So stop it. The statistics don't lie. And black families are starting to come back together again and do the right thing because they've seen how much chaos and craziness it caused for people who follow the government, the little God, and depend on him for their sustenance instead of the big God who can save them not only in this world, but in the next. But that's for another Saturday, man. Brothers, we're going to go ahead and sit on down. Danny, could you please take us out, brothers? Oh, yeah, I did. Take us out. Go ahead, Dan. Take us out, man. We'll go ahead and set it on down, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks for showing up, guys. Aaron, good to see you again, brother. Yes, sir.
All right, brothers. Let's stand in prayer here. Father God, we just want to thank you and praise you for this day, Lord. We thank you for waking us all up this morning, Lord. That is first and foremost. And we just want to give you honor and praise today as you start a brand new day today. Yesterday is gone, and we're by your grace and mercy, you're giving us another day to please you, Lord God, and honor your kingdom today, Lord. So, Father, as we break relationships and break bread today, Lord God, on the conversations we've had, I hope and pray that it was fulfilling and informational, that we covered some bases, Lord God, even though we agree and disagree on some things, Lord God, that you were in the midst of everything that was going on today, and that we can come to agree on everything today. So, Father, we thank you. We praise you for just your word, we just honor your word, Lord God, as the highest, Lord God, and your name is the highest name, Lord God, that we can praise you and raise your name up high, Lord God, over everything, Lord, that we covered today. So we give you all the praise and honor today, and we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. This was not a political conversation, it was a spiritual conversation. Brother, God bless you. We appreciate you. Thanks for everybody for showing up. And, as always, we're not responsible for anything that was said or you thought you heard on this platform. And go consult your psychiatrist, your rabbi, or your pharmacist for any medications that you might need. And as always, we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. I said we didn't have a sponsor today, so he had to duck and leave. Hugh, Jenkins, Aaron, Augustus, Danny, Reggie, love you guys, man. Don't get mad. When you get mad, come on back, man. Don't stay gone, all right? Because that's what we do. Good. Oh, man. You, man, you put the nail in it, man. You brought it right there, man. When you come in my house, you got to obey my. That's not that hard, man. It is not that hard, bro. I appreciate you, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, man. That's why they got border control. When you cross into other people's countries and state, you got to obey state laws. That's why they got state laws, not country laws.
Yeah,
and look, they have those too. But I mean, if the generalization of laws, then they would have just had just the country laws instead of the state laws as well.
There you go. And let me ask anybody on here: do you lock your doors at night, or you leave them open so anybody can come in and do what they want to do? I'm just saying, huh? I got security, I got dogs, I got a couple other things I can't mention on this platform, but they help out the situation just in case, huh? Somebody want to come in and do me harm, man. Okay, you might not like the outcome. Go take that room temperature challenge. I'm just saying, and that's why we had the military and the police officers to help in that, to keep us safe from those who want to do us harm. And you got anybody that, just a little bit of common sense. You always ask You know, who are you and why you want to come to my country and what are your intentions? Those are three good questions, I think. Who are you? Why you want to come to my country? And what are your intentions? And of course, they're not going to tell you the truth. They got bad intentions, but that's just too much like right. Just saying, brothers. All right, man. Take care, man. We're going to set it on down. And we'll be right back next week, the good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Number 9, brothers. Take care now. I'm going to set it down. All right. Take care, Jake. All right. Gus's. Aaron. Good to see you. Aaron, say something, man. How you been doing? So, Aaron. Okay, there you go. All right, brothers. We're going to talk. Go ahead. All right. Miss you, brother. Yeah, I know you're busy. Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'll be on the next call.
Okay. God bless you, man. Appreciate you.
God bless you.
All right.
God bless you too. Bye-bye.